Hey everyone, it's Aja. So in today's video, I'm going to be dyeing my hair. I've gotten a lot of questions on what my next color is going to be, so today's the day. I will also be doing a Q&A, just answering all of you guys' questions about my locks, how I maintain them. So let's get into it. This is what my hair looks like currently. This is what we're working with. It's right now, I want to say ginger red. Back in December, I had dyed it like a really deep red, but then it faded and now it's ginger. This is the current state of my bathroom right now. We get ready to dye my hair. I know you guys are waiting to know like what color I'm dyeing it. We are going black. We are going black. I started my locks black, just my natural hair color, got highlights, then I went blonde, and then red, and now ginger. Now I'm going back to black. So I'm just using the Adore Creative Image Off Black, and I'm using 5 bottles of that. Yes, 5 bottles. And then I also have 1 Black Velvet just because I didn't have a 6 bottle of the Off Black. But let's get into me actually dyeing my hair. So I'm gonna have my sister and my mom help me a little bit. It's gonna take a while to dye all of my locks, make sure they're all saturated. So yeah. I knew it was gonna be black. Like, I guess I'm a little shocked that it's this black, but I like it. I love it. Of course I love it. It's my hair. I just think the black for the summer really just does it for me. I think black in general, like black locks are always fire. I know that whether my hair is bleached or dyed, I'm gonna maintain my locks and they're gonna be healthy. I'm very satisfied, and I'm gonna show you guys the length because every time I look at the length, it's so long. Once I get into this retwist, it's over. It doesn't matter where I turn my incense, it's gonna go everywhere. Hey everyone, so it is currently the next day. My retwist is done and my hair is mostly dry. I absolutely love it. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about my lock journey, my maintenance routine, and then get into you guys' questions. So let's do it. To talk a little bit about my lock journey, I started my locks on April 6th of 2019. So that was a little over 4 years ago. I think I was in 8th grade at the time, so I was around 15 years old. I got a lot of questions asking how many locks I have. I have 69 locks now. I used to have 70, but I combined one. A few months prior to starting my locks, I had my spiritual awakening, so my locks are very symbolic to my spiritual journey. It's another huge influence for me starting my locks was my mom. She has locks, and I'll include pictures, but she was always a huge inspiration for me. The summer prior, so summer of 2018, I was trying new styles because I had always put my hair in twists or braids. I kind of grew out of the twist, so I started to try to style my natural hair, and it wasn't working at all. And I'm really glad I did. It's been 4 really good years and very rewarding. I actually skipped the baby phase because my hair was naturally already long, so I didn't have, you know, an awkward length that I started with. Some people start them with twists, others start them with braids, but I personally started mine with coils, and they worked out. They definitely worked out. So within a few washes, my hair was already starting to lock up, just because of my texture, and also because I started them with coils and they were pretty big. Since the beginning of my lock journey, I've always done everything myself. So I do my retwists myself, I dye my hair, I bleach it, touch up my roots, all of that I do myself. The only time I went to somebody was when I got highlights and also fully bleached my hair. So those were the only 2 times I went to a family friend just to get that done. But other than that, I do all my retwists and my dye and my touch up and my color. I do all of that myself. To now talk about my maintenance routine and the products that I use. I only use my shampoo, oil, and my gels in my hair. Less is better when you have locks, especially if you're starting out. You don't need a lot of products in your hair because that's just going to lead to buildup, and it's kind of hard to get out. I'll also put it on the screen, but the shampoo that I use is, I think, the Tresemme. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a Tresemme shampoo. And then for oil, I use the Jamaican black castor oil. That's the only oil that I've ever used, and it works great. For my gel, I've used about 3 different gels. The first gel I used for a couple years, and it was a very light gel and it worked great. I do recommend when you're retwisting, make sure that your hair fully dries so that your retwist lasts longer. For me, my hair takes a while to dry. I definitely have to like sit and blow dry my hair, but my retwist wouldn't last as long because I didn't let it dry. More recently, I started to use this gel. It's similar to the first one that I used. It's very light. And I use that kind of in the middle of my hair, anything but the perimeter. That's the gel that I use. And then for the perimeter of my hair, I use the Shine and Jam. It's the yellow orange bottle. I started using that about 6 months ago when I first dyed my hair, just because it's a stronger gel. And for the perimeter of my hair, I don't like to necessarily like touch it up as often as I used to. I just use a stronger gel. I retwist them and they dry, they last longer. And for my front locks, I also use the Miel Edge Gel. I use that only for the front of my locks, again just so that they can last a little bit longer. I also use 2 butters. First one is just a regular shea butter. I use that every few days, probably 2 or 3 times a week, just to moisturize my hair, along with the castor oil and water. And then the second butter, that's just for scent wise. I use that so my hair can smell good. It smells really good. I use that probably once every 2 weeks, just for my hair to freshen up. I retwist my hair every 3 to 4 weeks. That is what works best for me. Because my locks are thick, I'm able to retwist a little more often than people who have smaller locks, just because I don't have to deal with breakage or thinning at all. If you're thinking about starting locks or you have locks, I definitely suggest not to style your hair or retwist it as often. Don't manipulate your hair as much, or you will run into breakage and thinning with your locks. Another thing, a part of my routine, I just started brushing my locks maybe a year and a half ago, and I've definitely noticed a difference. My locks are a lot more in form, and also it helps me to kind of tackle any lint or frizz that I go through. I only brush my hair right after I wash it, so I just get out the shower and I brush it for 5 minutes or so, and then I get into my moisture routine. But I only suggest that if your locks are mature. So in the beginning stages, beginning phases, it's unnecessary to be brushing them. To talk about how I've been like bleaching and dyeing my hair, I had my hair black for maybe a year and a half to 2 years. Then I got highlight, and then I went fully blonde, which was just bleach. A lot of people asked me how I got my blonde. It was just bleach for me. That really depends on what your natural hair color looks like. After I went blonde, I kept the blonde for a year and a half, and then I went red. It was originally supposed to be ginger, but it came out a lot deeper of a red, but then it faded, and when I re-dyed it, it was a lot more of a ginger. That's pretty much it for my whole journey and my maintenance routine. Now to get into you guys' questions. The first question is, what is your favorite thing about having locks? My favorite thing about having locks is definitely the versatility. A lot of people think that you can't do as many styles as you want when you have locks, but if your size suits you and it looks good, then you can definitely do a lot of different styles. I don't do nearly as many styles as I want to. Another thing that I like about locks is the maintenance part of it. I did mention that I was really frustrated with my natural hair. So when I got locks, it was a lot easier for me to maintain them and also keep them to my liking. The next question is, are locks hard to maintain? And if so, what is the most difficult thing about maintaining locks? Generally, I don't think locks are hard to maintain, but I think what can become challenging is just keeping them moisturized and keeping them healthy. So in the beginning, I was definitely on top of just keeping my locks moisturized, and a lot of people say to focus the moisture on your scalp, but I definitely think that you should be paying the same amount of attention to the whole shaft of your locks. But definitely just keeping up with a consistent moisture routine is a little bit harder to maintain. And also, if you're thinking about dyeing your hair, that's definitely the hardest thing to maintain. For me, I love a fresh retwist and I love a fresh dye. When I was fully blonde, touching up my roots every 6 to 8 weeks, and I was very on top of that until I got to college, and I didn't touch my roots for months. And then when I dyed my hair about 6 months ago, I definitely wanted to keep the color up, but because I was in school and also the color had faded. But yeah, definitely just keeping up with like moisturizing your hair, and if it's dyed or bleached, keeping up with that is definitely the hardest. The next question is there a certain length you want to stop at, or will you continue to grow them out? Personally, I'm just going to continue to grow them out. Right now, my hair is about mid-back. I don't really want to stop at a certain length or ever really cut them, so yeah. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this question asks, what made you want to get locks? Really because of my, spiritual journey and it being symbolic to that, but also my mom being a huge inspiration are the reasons why I got locks. Do you see yourself keeping your locks forever? Yes, I definitely see myself keeping my locks forever. How did I start my locks? And like I said, I started them using coils, but for me, and especially with my size, coils was the best thing I could do. The next question is, why ginger? When I first dyed my hair, that was the goal. I wanted it to be ginger, but it came out a really deep red instead. And then when it faded and I retouched my hair, like retouched the roots, it ended up being that ginger color that I originally wanted. But there wasn't a definite reason as to like why ginger. I just went from blonde, so I wanted to try more of like an orange red color. I'd seen some pictures of people who had locks, who had ginger locks on Pinterest, so it was also some inspiration for me. But other than that, I didn't have a definite reason as to like why ginger. It just was the next color for me. And to add on to that question, now, like, why black? For me, I just want to try like really natural colors. I don't think I'll ever try like a blue or green, those type of colors. Seeing how it looked in the beginning of my lock journey and how it looks now, I definitely wanted to kind of just go back to black. The next question is, have you ever had times where you didn't love your locks as much as you should? Personally, no. I loved every phase of my lock journey, from the beginning to when it started budding. Even when it was sticking up, my hair used to like stick up everywhere and it would be really hard even to just put it in a ponytail. I think even when I got past that, I loved every phase. How do you dye them and still keep them healthy? So again, it really just depends on how consistent you are with moisturizing your hair. I knew that when I went fully blonde, I definitely had to step up my moisture game. I was just trying to be really consistent with using my oil and water every few days, and also just paying attention to the full length of my locks. It wasn't just my roots that I was focusing on, it was all of my locks. And then when I started brushing them, when they got mature, all of that really just contributed to me maintaining the health of my hair and just the overall look. The next question is, what products should be avoided? Are any products or gels that have wax in it? Just because I can really cause a lot of buildup within your locks. And I've only done like an apple cider vinegar rinse a handful of times. I stopped doing them when fully went blonde just because I knew my hair was already not its healthiest. I didn't want to really strip my hair of any of the oils that it already had. Didn't use any really strong gels or waxes at all. That's really the only thing that I can recommend to not use in your locks. What are your go-to styles? Now, to be honest, I haven't really done that many styles, and at this point, I know, I need to try a lot more styles, and I'm going to. I keep saying that I will, but this time for real. I'll put some pictures on the screen of some styles that I've done. Go-to, it's really just either my hair straight, curly, and like a thrown up bun, but other than that, I don't really have any definite go-to styles. I definitely want to be trying new styles in the next few months, so look out for that. Have you ever thought about combing them out or cutting them off completely? I've thought about it, what it would look like, but I'm not ever going to cut them off or comb them out. And the last question is, what is your most favorite color that you've had? And honestly, this black is really doing it for me. Before the black, definitely the ginger that I most recently had. That was the original color that I was going for when I first dyed my hair. The blonde also ate, but other than that, definitely the black right now is my favorite, and the ginger. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just saying a little bit about my lock journey, my maintenance routine, me dyeing my hair in the beginning of this video, and then just going over a few questions that you guys had about my locks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm absolutely in love with my color. Like, I think it looks really good, and I definitely know how to take care of my locks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.